So what I want to do now is I want to start another paint scheme. We're not going to finish it because it's going to be much, much more complicated. But I wanted to start out with the simple, just so you can kind of see how it works and how you can come up with something kind of custom. This is a very simple paint scheme. There's not a lot to it. But now we're going to do something that's a little bit more complicated. There's a little bit more elements to it. And we're going to start it on this stream. And then later on, we're going to finish it. But we'll get it at least started. So we're going to go back into, well, here, let me go back in iRacing and I'll show you what we're going to do. We're going to do an IndyCar. So here's the paint scheme that I use right now from Trading Paints, the C-Squared Racing Performance Plus Carbon X paint scheme that I run when I run in practice with Gran Premio Esporte. But I also want to create an Autolite themed paint scheme as well that I can have as an alternate. And I was looking through some of these different default paint schemes. And I kind of liked this one. Let's turn off the, you uncheck this box and it sends you back to the normal paint. And I thought we could kind of do something. If I get the colors, this will just be approximating the colors here. It's not going to be exact. But something kind of like that I think would look kind of cool. It's not the right color orange, but I think we need a little bit more red in it maybe. Maybe more like that. I think something like that would look pretty cool. So I'm going to try and use this one. So this is number 14. So I think when we go into the template, it'll be 13. Will be this one, but you'll be able to tell. And of course it'll have those funky colors. But that's what we're going to use. We're going to start with that as a template and we're going to get kind of this look. Just for anyone that's interested, the existing one that I'm using is based on, which one of these is it? This one. My existing paint scheme is number 12, and it's just a customized version of this, and it looks great. But it's got some extra graphics and elements added to it, so that it looks unique. It doesn't look like it's the standard template. And that's what this is all about. You know, you can do a blank slate and just do your own graphics and import your own stripes and elements and different patterns and things like that. But you can use these as a starting point as well. And you can go into the template and you can erase areas or add additional items to it. You know, stripes or graphics or whatever. You know, you don't have to keep the breakdown here. If you want this wing, you know, instead of the triple color wing, you can make that all the same color if you want. You know, it doesn't have to conform to this, but it just gives you some lines to stay within. But like I said, we're going to go with 14 here. This is what we're going to use, and we can modify this any way we want to, but this is what we're going to start with. And I've already uploaded the template. So we're going to hop out of iRacing, and I'm going to close that. We're going to go back into GIMP. Oh, and we don't need this, the image here anymore. We can take that off. And now it's just my pretty face. All right. So we don't need this anymore. So we're going to open up a new file. We're going to say new. Actually, no, we're not going to say new. We're going to say open. And we're going to go into our downloads. And we're going to find this 99 template IR18. And we're going to go into that folder. And there is our IndyCar Dallara IR18 PSD file. And we're going to open that. And holy cow, is this more complicated. And this is why we're not going to finish this one in this session. But we're at least going to get it started. Maybe we'll get the colors at least right. So it's got a lot of the same elements. If you go to the to this second group of layers. You've got your wireframe, and you can tell instantly from the wireframe how much more complicated this model is. One of the reasons why this is more complicated is that there's multiple configurations here, because you have the speedway version of the IR18 with the smaller rear and front wings, but you also have the road course version, which is what you actually saw in iRacing a minute ago in the preview. The preview always defaults to the road course version. So you have both of those versions. And so, for instance, up here is the speedway wing. This is the top and bottom of the speedway wing right here. The road course wing is, I believe this is over here. So you have to do both of those, and it's very complicated, and I haven't done one of these from scratch before, so this is going to be a little bit of a challenge for me as well. I have modified designs, slight tweaks. I have never done one from this point, but we're going to give it a shot. You also have, again, your sponsor areas, your number areas, and then your car mandatory, which these, I know this area has to do with the seat. These are the areas that go around the driver's neck. What was the other bits? This, I have no idea. That might be the arrow screen, might be what that is. And there's a lot of other stuff in here too that you're not going to mess with, this kind of stuff. Down here is your pit boards and all that kind of stuff. And we'll go through those one by one. Oh, actually, this is your front wings. These are all your front wings, all the different elements. That's what this is. And this, I think, is your road course rear wing up here. Whoop, what did I do? Anyway, so let's get down into the principal area. And you see, if you're not sure what certain things are, you know, yeah, here's your decals. So this is like your carbon fiber, your stuff like that. Your color change logos, which is going to be your, you know, your standard logos that every IndyCar is going to have. Your Firestone, your NTT, you know, logos. Not sure what this one is. Pit box colors. It's hard to see sometimes what they are. I'm sure something right now is flashing as I'm clicking this on and off, but I can't see what it is. Well, somewhere in here is what your pit box color is. And your pit boards are going to be down here. And this is important because it's going to put your car number on there. But if you want to put your sponsor on there as well, you need to know how that gets oriented. So I think it's this. I think what happens is you're looking at it turn sideways. If you turn this 90 degrees to the left, I think that's where your number goes, and then your sponsor could go on the bottom. There's a little bit of area there. So yeah, so let's go into car patterns. And I think we were looking for, was it 12? Okay, so now we have what it is. So the way we wanted to do it is the parts here that are green, we want it to have be black. The parts that are blue, we wanted white. And the parts that are red, we wanted orange. So let's start with turning the green to black. I think that's okay to do. So we can close down these car patterns. And we will select, well, we probably want to keep that. We got to select that layer. All right, and now we're going to go to colors and map and color exchange. And we're going to select that green. It's kind of automatically selecting it. I don't want it to. Here, let me do this. There we go. Why is that not selecting? There we go. Okay. I think I grabbed part of the white. All right. And then the blue. We're going to grab the blue. And we want that to be white. Oh, it changed the green back. Ah, crap. Okay, hold on. All right, all right. Cancel. I guess we can't do it all in one. I guess we have to close it. Say, okay. Everything in here requires you to do that confirmation step, and that gets a little annoying. So we say, okay. All right, now we're going to go to do this again. Colors, map, color exchange. All right, now we're going to select this blue again. We're going to pick the eyedropper. We're going to grab that blue. Okay, and now we're going to say we want it to be white. And that looks like it did it all right. And we're going to say okay. And now we want to do the red. And here's the tricky part. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually load in a the Autolite logo because I need to grab the color off the logo. So now we're going to do... All right, we'll go back to that car pattern. So this isn't where I want that layer stored, but we're going to delete that here in a second. But I want to do color map, color exchange, and what just happened? I want to do this red, but we're going to change it to this orange. There we go. I think that's going to work okay. Yeah, I think that works. All right, now let's delete this layer for now. Okay. Now this should essentially give us exactly what we had through iRacing's paint. You know, we should just end up with exactly the same car that we would have if we just used the iRacing. But now we're going to go through and do the customizing part. And so now we're going to minimize that, and this is where we need to go into the paintable areas, and we need to make sure that we understand what these different parts of the car are, so that we know where we're putting things. And the first thing I want to do is mask the numbers, because that'll give us some reference. So I know that this is the pylon behind the driver's head. I know that this is the nose of the car. I know these are the end plates on the wings, because that says where the numbers are. So I wasn't sure what this was actually up here. And because that's where the number is, that tells me that that must be the wing end plate. Things look differently when you stretch them into 2D when they're supposed to be 3D. I know that these areas here are the areas in front of the rear tires, and that these are the side pods. And so we're going to go ahead. See, this is the engine cover. So this is the back of the car behind the driver. This is the side of the nose, the top of the nose. So we know some of these things, and we can go in and we can start to add our graphics and our logos and things like that in, and start to customize this and get it the way we want it to be. And like I said, at some point we're going to save this, and I'm going to leave it, and we're going to finish it under the stream. But let's go ahead and get into it at least. And we'll start by... let's add in, I guess, some Autolite logos, right? That's who we're doing this for, so we'll add some Autolite logos in. And we'll say save as... Well, let's make sure we're on the right layer. Let's cancel that out. Let's see. Let's select this. It'll go above that. So we'll say open layers. We're going to select that Autolite logo that we just opened up a minute ago. Yes. And let's see. You know what I want to do? For the side pod logos, I don't want to use this logo. I'm going to delete it again. I'm going to use that anniversary logo. I like that anniversary logo. I think it's really cool, and I think it'd be neat to do that as the logo on the side. So let's do that. Let's go open as layer, and let's grab that. And we'll say Autolite 85th, and this is going to be on the, so the way this car is oriented, the nose of the car is to the left, so the left side pod is going to be on the bottom, right side pod is going to be on the top. So this is going to be left. And we are going to scale this down. Let's see. Not sure exactly how small this is going to need to be. I think it's going to need to be smaller than that. Because the side pod curves a little bit, so even though the surface sometimes looks bigger, if you make it too big, it actually just wraps above the side pod. And where this little vertex is here, this little point is kind of the middle. So I want it maybe, stop doing that. I want to put it, oh, come on, man. Let me move the right layer. I want to maybe put it just a little bit behind that. Like maybe like there. Excuse me. Sorry. And this one's going to be kind of tough to get just right. So I think this one I'm going to want to do the duplicate. And I think I am going to want to just go ahead and slide it up so that I get it in exactly the right spot. So let's go ahead and delete the name, change it to right. And we're going to change this to rotate. And I know I'm not going through all the little mechanics of how to do everything in GIMP. I definitely don't intend this to be a tutorial on how to use GIMP. There are plenty of videos on YouTube. If you need help with that, there's plenty of stuff out there that will help you at whatever skill level you're at to do what you need to do. That'll teach you how to do these things. It's a fairly intuitive program. It doesn't have a million different options in it like Photoshop does. It's far less intimidating. It's pretty easy to pick up if you just play around with it for a little bit and you have some patience. But if you do get stuck on something specific, there are plenty of videos out there that will help you and guide you through it. So, all right. So I think I like that. That's going to curl up a little bit on the side, but I think I like where that is. Let's go ahead and save this. We've done a few things here, so we want to make sure we save it. And we're going to save this in Documents, iRacing, Paint, and this one is going to go in IR18. I believe this folder is actually labeled what you would expect. Indy. Oh, that's Pro Mazda. Oh, no, it's Delara IR18. There we go. All right. And you see I've already got my Carbon X sponsored one in there. So we're going to make this one the Autolite 85th IR18. And we're going to save that as an XCF file. That's the file type for working files within GIMP. I think if it's if you're in Photoshop, it'll save it as a Photoshop file ID. I believe it's a different file type, like a PSD or something like that. But that's what we're going to do there. And all right, so now we've got to add a little bit more. So let's put an Autolite sponsor on the nose, maybe right across the tip there. So let's go to open as layers, and we'll grab the okay, now you open. No, that's where it's always going to be. It's always going to open in your working file, so you constantly have to go back to the pictures file, and then I could just save all these elements into the folder with the paint project file. That might be easier, But I just don't want to keep a lot of files in there because I use these graphics for more things, and I don't want to have copies of them. So let's grab the Autolite one. We'll grab that big sucker. We're going to rotate this so that it's going that way, and then we're going to resize it. Pretty small. Probably going to have to be smaller. Definitely going to be smaller than that. And we're going to kind of stick it on the nose. Sort of there, like right above where the number would be. But I think we're going to want it smaller than that. Maybe not a whole lot, though. That's probably not too bad. Maybe just a hair smaller. Oh, we gotta relabel the layer. Autolite nose. Is it gonna move it? Why is it not liking that? There's no selection of it. What? Why is it not happy? Something's cranky. I don't know why it's not selecting. There we go. Okay. Somehow I clicked the wrong thing, apparently. All right. So now we want to center it a little bit better. Inside these green lines are where there's sort of a border. So we want to make sure we get it within that. The white lines here, there's actually an air vent that takes cooling air in for the driver, and that's sort of like the contour of that. So we can use that as a guide to kind of get it centered. I think about like that. Looks pretty good. Okay. So we'll kind of go with that. We'll see how that looks when we check it out later. Take the wireframe off. That helps a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. But we can always fine-tune it later. And then we'll put other sponsors here on the nose too. Let's see. I also want to put Autolite on the wing. But what I want to do... I'm debating whether or not to keep the wings this color. If I want to keep them orange or black. Because I believe... this is the underside. Yeah, this is the underside and this is the top. Well, let's keep it the way it is for now, because we can always change it later. So let's go ahead and grab, open as layers. We'll grab that file again. Autolite, no. And yes, it is a lot of the same thing over and over again. This will be the Autolite Wing Speedway. We'll just say S. I should say rear wing. So our wing S is rear wing Speedway. And it's already oriented correctly. We just need to make it smaller. So let's do that for now. Why does it keep defaulting to... What is it? It's defaulting to a weird... To move select... Ah, come on. What is it? I don't know why it's... There we go. Okay. All right, so we're going to do this, and it's obviously still a little bit too big. Let's get the box at least centered. About like that. Not that that's going to matter once we resize it, because then we're going to have to recenter it again. That's still a little too big. Oh, we're going to fine tune it with the, we'll use the keyboard here. I think that fits in there. It's going to be quite full, but I believe it does fit. All right, I think that looks good. And then we can do the same thing for the road course, and we can make the road course wing logo bigger. So we'll go ahead and re-import the file so that we don't lose any resolution. Oh, I hear my cat meowing. Pictures. All right, there's my big logo again. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and resize this again. What's up, Oliver? All right, and we can place it right about like that. I think that's... Yeah, the little angled bit is the front. And we actually can bring it down a little bit. Like that. Okay, and I want to save it again. All right, and then these are the front wing elements. And I'm trying to see. This looks like these are the road course front wing. Where's the speedway front wing? I think that's these right here. So then we got to decide, do we want to have... We've got a lot of different sponsors. We've got Autolite on the side pods, on the nose, on the rear wing. Do we want to have something different on the front wings? I kind of think, I kind of think I do. I kind of think I want a different company on the front. So let's go ahead, Autolite's sister company that we've been with, that we were with for several years, and is Fram. Fram's all part of the same company as Autolite. They're part of a company called First Brands, along with Trico that makes windshield wipers, and Raybestos brakes, and a few other brands. So let's go ahead and put them on there. So we will import that logo. What's up, kiddo? What's up, Oliver? How you doing, buddy? The stream's almost done. Keep hitting the microphone with my hat. All right, so here's the... that is so annoying. Let's rename this the Fram logo. Why does it keep grabbing that? It's grabbing everything but what I want it to grab. There we go. Okay. So you notice the Fram logo is that color orange, and I want to put it on the wings, which are also orange. So what we're actually going to do is make this white. What's the easiest way to do this? So I think we're going to just have that layer selected. And then we're going to go to color and map, color exchange. And we're going to select that color. And here we're going to change it to white. Is that going to work? There we go. Get a little blue in there. All right, I think that worked. Okay, so now if I drag... Oh, come on. What's up, buddy? Oliver's pawing at me here. He's telling me it's stream's over. Come play with me. It's my turn now. Yeah, there we go. Nice white Fram logo on the orange. That looks good. Looks just like their packaging, which is perfect. So we're going to go ahead and resize that. And maybe about like that. And then we're going to see if we can actually grab the right thing. And it's still a little too big. So we'll resize it again. I think this is the wing. I'm not 100% positive. If it's not, we will move it. Sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to just change something on the car and then see what actually changes and then go, oh, that's what that part is. So we'll do that. And I think I'm going to probably want to make it a little bit smaller still. You always end up making things a little bit smaller than you think they need to be. You know, and you want to show your sponsors off, so you want to have the logos nice and big. But a lot of times you need to worry about contours and where pieces come together and things like that. So you want to make sure that there's a little bit of room around the logo so that it's not crowded by other things. So we're going to do that. And I can't remember if this needs to necessarily be rotated or not. So right now we're going to say F-wing. And I'm going to say it's left. I honestly don't know if that's the left wing or the right wing. But we're going to duplicate it. And we're going to call this the right wing, whatever it is. And we're going to rotate it. And if when we export it, it's upside down, then we'll know to undo that. And now we're just going to rotate it up since it's right there. Or translate it up, I mean. But because of the way that's italicized, we're going to want to move it in a little bit to account for that. I think that's about like that. All right, and then we're going to save it. All right, and I think that's about takes us out of time here. Next time I stream this, I don't know if it'll be the next stream or not. I'll let people know. But the next time we decide to stream this, I'll leave this right here. We'll jump back in right where we left off. We'll check it. We'll export it to iRacing to see what it looks like so far, to see if all of these things are positioned the way we want them to be, and if we have to make anything different sizes or nudge them in different positions, or if we decide we want to change any of these color schemes at all. Or add anything or subtract anything. So, but we'll save that for the next time. I appreciate everybody taking some time to hang out with me here. I'm getting spam chats again. Get out of here. How do I make that go away? There we go. Let's get that out of there. No spam in the chat. So, I appreciate everybody for hanging out tonight. I hope people find this interesting and learn something about how to do this, and it inspired you to want to go on into whether it's GIMP or Photoshop and try and work on making your own paint scheme. We're doing about the hardest card you can do, which is the IndyCar right now. And we did one of the easier cars earlier with the Spec Racer Ford. So if you can stay with what I'm doing here, you can pretty much do any car in iRacing. It's really not that hard if you don't mind using the built-in templates as a starting point. And then, you can play around and experiment, and as you get better, then you can start to, work on just creating your own graphic assets and your own stripes and color patterns and things like that. It's whatever you want to do. Appreciate everybody sticking with me. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, please give it a like, and we'd appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel, because that helps us out a ton. Otherwise, we'll be streaming. We're going to be trying to stream every Wednesday at 9 o'clock Eastern time, and we're going to play around with maybe doing some weekend streams as well. But if I do this again, I'll try and keep it on the Wednesday schedule, so that if you saw this stream, come back next week and we'll do it same bad time, same bad channel. So thanks everyone. Appreciate you taking the time to hang with us. Hope it was educational. Hope it was entertaining. And until next time, catch you on the next lap. Bye everybody.